Hey everybody, I'm back. I'm just coming in with another discussion video that I was talking with a friend of mine uh, a little while ago, and we was talking about the whole casting list of Avengers Doomsday. Now, of course, I haven't made a reaction video over that trailer or supposed trailer because I thought it was so lame, like the worst PR move I've ever seen in my life. Worst marketing of a film that I've ever seen in my freaking life. Just 14 minutes of you just watching names on chairs. That is terrible. You could have at least given us some kind of teaser or something. Of you just, granted, obviously you can't show every actor, flying them out to do this little video. We could have done something more creative than this. And not only that, the video could have been like at least half the time that it took, because it spent what good 10 minutes on a chair at a time or something. Like, golly, it was so lame. I didn't want to be bothered to make a video of this because it would have been probably darn near 30 minutes. I was like, no, that's not worth it. People want something to really glom onto, to really talk about. But only thing, because Hollywood got this very bad mindset that all press is good press. It's like, sometimes it's the same kind of mindset as the customer is always right kind of thing. Whereas no, not always. We need to get away from that. We need to get away from all press is good press. Just because you're talking about it doesn't mean it's something good. That will incentivize people to be turned off by it. You want to get people excited. That is the overall goal. You want to get people excited. And it's so lame. There's a couple things I want to talk about here, but the primary thing I want to talk about is the fact that who are the Avengers now? Who are the Avengers now? Now, of course, I got the complete list of the characters that they announced so far. I'm pretty sure they're planning on another video with more chairs. But I'm pretty sure after the backlash they got, they're probably going to make sure that they'll do a proper teaser or a proper video to get people excited. They're going to try to do something quirky about it, like, hey, we can laugh with y'all too. Here's a chair, but oh, here's the person now. Like, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. You haven't earned that. You should have thought about that from the jump. Who thought this was a good idea should have been fired. I'm sorry. And I don't endorse people being let go from their jobs, but if they do a terrible job like this, they can at least be downgraded from their position. You want to entice people. This wasn't enticing. And the second video I'm assuming they're going to do is probably going to have more females involved and then a lot more of the new characters, because they try not... because there's also backlash with certain people. Someone like, where are the women at? Y'all, you're so ashamed, or giving backlash about that. It's because they did. It's Disney's fault, Marvel's fault. They should have from the jump stop girl bossing all their freaking female characters and give them some actual layered personality, rather than just being perfect or downplaying guys to prop themselves up, or whatever the heck She-Hulk did in her show. But the characters or the actors that they got so far that we know: Chris Hemsworth's Thor, Vanessa Kirby, or at least all the new Fantastic Four. Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn. I'm about to talk about that guy in a second. As a Human Torch, uh, uh, Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Fantastic Four. So obviously the new Fantastic Four is going to be in this. But we got Chris Hemsworth's Thor, Anthony Mackie's Captain America, which you would think him being Captain America and supposed to be the new leader of the Avengers, his name should have been first on that list. That is another kind of, it's like you want to sell us on him being Captain America. You're doing a piss poor job about that. Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier, Lakeith Wright as Shuri as Black Panther, even though there's been concept arts of an alternate variant of T'Challa, which I said many times, I know it was a touchy subject at that time, but Letitia Wright, Shuri, Black Panther didn't feel earned. You kind of shoved that in because they was like, really trying to shove women into this thing, and it just feels so hacky and forced. And I know there's been some people like point out like, was Shuri been Black Panther in the comics before? Yeah, even then, as I recall, I don't remember it being all that good. And secondly, it was at least was handled better because we had T'Challa for such a long time. We didn't really in the MCU have that much time to live with T'Challa, because unfortunately Chadwick Boseman passed away. But even if he didn't, we would have probably had at least a good 3 movies before we got to the point where Shuri could take up the mantle, and she would have like a more impressive arc for us to say like, yeah, she has earned this position. She didn't feel like she earned it. We got Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, Wyatt Russell, U.S. agent. That's another thing. They kind of spoiled Thunderbolts. It's like, it's a spoiler. It's like, Thunderbolts haven't even been out yet, and y'all pretty much spoiling who's going to survive because they're dealing with like the Sentry, which is like Marvel's Superman. We got Tanak Hirota Maja as Namor. He's coming back, but I guess that whole scandal, that sex scandal he was in a little while back, I guess that he gotten out over the other side of it better, so I guess that isn't a big deal. So if he got past that scandal, I don't see why Jonathan Majors couldn't get out his little thing, even though he was found not guilty. It just looked bad. You don't want to look like a misogynist or support a misogynist. Shut up. You're just, finding an excuse because you didn't plan out the phase 4 and 5, as proper as you probably should have. Oh, okay, and even Moss as Ben Grimm thing, he's microchip in the Punisher films. Simu Yu, Shang-Chi, Florence Pugh as Elena Belova. Now, here's things get a little bit exciting. Kelsey Grammer comes back as Beast. Louis Pullman as Bob, the Sentry. Dane Ramirez as the new Falcon. Like I said, David Harbour, Red Guardian. Once again, Thunderbolt stuff. Winston Duke as M'Baku. He was cool. We got Hannah John Kamen as Ghost. Tom Hiddleston Loki. Patrick Stewart once again as Professor X. Ian McKellen as Magneto. Alan Cumming coming back as Nightcrawler. Rebecca Romijn as Mystique. James Marsden Cyclops. Channing Tatum as Gambit. And then of course Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. Now, a lot of these X-Men are a little bit more exciting because here's the thing: those names that people are a little bit more excited for are the ones that we kind of grew up with. We had time with them. A lot of these like older X-Men characters are a little bit more excited than any of the others that we got. Because, Marvel has done a bad job of showcasing these newer Marvel heroes. Because we got also Kamala Khan and Kate Bishop's Hawkeye, but we haven't really have a concrete answer. Who are the new Avengers now? And I think instead of, at least what I discussed with my friend, I think that the Captain America 4, which was a glorified Hulk sequel more than anything else, but because it's Universal, they couldn't really make it like a real Hulk movie. But let's be honest, you watch that film, that's a Hulk sequel. That's not a Captain America movie. Captain America is pretty much tag along. I think if you want to make a true Captain America film with Sam Wilson should have been, made his mission that, like Thunderbolt Ross in the film wanted him to like restart the Avengers. He spent most of that Civil War pushing that Superhuman Registration Act on everybody, which ended up breaking up the Avengers. If that was kind of like the goal, then this movie should have been dedicated, or better yet, it's kind of like Captain America Civil War. This should be Captain America and the Avengers. So that way, it can be with Sam Wilson, Captain America leading this new crew of people, pretty much like the Nick Fury, making a new Avengers initiative. And then go contact CMU's, go get Shang-Chi, go get Kate Bishop, go get Kamala Khan, go get Namor, go get like all these new people aside from the Thunderbolts. Go get all these new people and make it a Avengers, because like people call Captain America Civil War Avengers 2.0. This could be like Avengers 3.0, because the next Avengers film technically is Doomsday, but the people on the roster are not. Most of them are not somebody people are excited for, because we haven't seen them in years. We haven't seen them interact with each other, how they, play off each other. None of that stuff. Because it'll be kind of shocking that we see them all just push it. It's like going from after, Iron Man 2, because Iron Man 2 and I forgot what movie, the last movie before it got in, I'm pretty sure it was the first Captain America movie, but either Iron Man 2 or Captain America First Avengers, after one of those two movies, they lead right into the Avengers, because they already had all their solo films aside from Hawkeye and Black Widow. They were introduced in Iron Man 2 and Thor 1, but we got them. It's like going from that into Infinity War. That's what it feels like. It's like we got these hotspots of these single issue films or TV shows, and then we're just throwing them into an Infinity War type event where we barely know them like that, and how are they going to interact with each other. We needed a Avengers 3.0. We need a mid-level boss fight for them to deal with for their first go around. Dr. Doom is not like the first thing they should be throwing themselves at, because half of them won't be able to deal with or handle something like Dr. Doom, who has the technological or at least the mindset of a scientific genius mixed with an arcane ability. It's just like, that's not something you first throw them at. You need something like a mid-level boss, just for them to, on the level of Loki at least, to get them used to working as a team. Have that moment where they're interacting with each other because like the first Avengers film, they got into a fight. They don't know each other. The egos, they so used to running things their way. Their egos, kind of clash until they, realize, okay, we're dealing with a common enemy, and we got to deal with this MacGuffin that he hid away, the Tesseract. We need something similar. Even if it's kind of like a copy paste of the first Avengers, I don't care. We need a middle ground before we get to Doomsday. That's what they should have. I know it's kind of like a rush job, but we need to get used to these new characters first before we get to Doomsday, because Doomsday is pretty much the Infinity War. Because let's be honest, most of these characters are going to probably end up dying and then coming back for Secret Wars. And just like in Infinity War, Thor, Cap, and Iron Man were like breaking off in three branches with running with a group of heroes separately, because they were like the pillars. We don't have a pillar. We got Thor, and I know Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther was supposed to have been another pillar, and Doctor Strange was supposed to have been like a pillar in of himself. And I guess like Captain Marvel Brie Larson was supposed to have been like another pillar, but she didn't sew very well because the actress kind of said a couple of nonsense things before. They kind of rubbed certain people the wrong way, and honestly, the character really, has not been written very well to appeal to a lot of people, especially the Marvels, which there are moments that I thought was okay, but all in all, it was kind of like, yeah, that was like a wash. Man, it's just we need like I'm not sure what kind of Loki level boss they should deal with, but at the very least, we need to get these newer characters together with Doctor Strange, Sam Wilson's Captain America, and Thor being the pillars to teach these younger people how to work together, because especially like Kamala Khan, who's probably like the fangirl of the group. But we got Kate Bishop, who's had her own way of doing things. I won't say she's cocky, but she kind of got that spunky Hawkeye attitude. But then of course you got Florence Pugh, Black Widow, but she is she's her own thing. It's just like then like Shang-Chi, who it's like a little bit more measured, I guess. But you got all these different power sets, different skills, but how do they mesh? But we need that moment, so that way they can, because by Avengers 2, since the Avengers 1, we see them, because I did a review of Avengers 2, Age of Ultron. Right at the beginning, you see them work as like a well-oiled machine. It was like a year after the events of the first Avengers film. Now they spend time working together. They got like their own code signs to like for Hulk to be deployed if we need like a code green. But you see them like Thor and Captain America, do like a combo attack with the shield and the hammer, and just like, oh look, they're lining up. Oh well, they're excited. Boom, and it's like knocking them all down. It's a fine-tuned machine, and we need because if we do it in Avengers 3.0 first, then and have them kind of get used to working together. By the time Doomsday come around, we see them kind of like work almost like clockwork. Like Kamala Khan and Shang-Chi bouncing off each other, Namor and fooling around with the Fantastic Four. We see all this going ping ponging off of each other, and have some kind of camaraderie. It's just like there's a gap missing. Maybe it'll work out fine. Maybe Doomsday will work out fine, but it's just it feels rust, and it just feels rust to me. And then just recently, the actor who plays Johnny Storm, Joseph Quinn, and Vanessa Kirby's who plays the Invisible Woman now, they're getting a little bit in the hot seat right now because, well, I don't even fully blame them. I don't think most people fully blame them. It's just what they probably been told by the studio, because Johnny Storm, this is going to be a different Johnny Storm. He's not going to be some kind of womanizer because we live in like a different age now. And is that even still cool nowadays? That's like, bro, Iron Man was a freaking player, and we liked him for it. That's what women like about him, because he's like a devil may care kind of attitude. It's kind of very slick talky and smooth with the ladies, and it's like a suave guy. Johnny is just like that, except just slightly younger. It's just like, that's what was appealing about them. Guys want to be them, ladies want to be with them. It's similar to like James Bond. It is just like that kind of attitude. That's what was appealing about the character. You're trying to modernize every little thing because you're afraid how it might look to the some of the audience, but it's just like that was the character. And then with the Vanessa Kirby, and it's like something about putting some gender politics into the film somehow in some capacity, and it's like, what, just because it looks like the 60s, a futuristic 60s in a different universe, and it's like, look, you don't need to acknowledge that every freaking movie. It's a superhero movie. Can we just be a superhero movie without, sure, it's set in the 60s, but you don't have to freaking acknowledge any kind of racial or gender dynamics or whatever the heck. It's just, let it be. Let's just, have like a fun interaction and stuff without, drawing attention, because it's not the movie for it. If it was like a movie about that kind of thing, first and foremost, then yeah, it kind of had to be acknowledged. But this is a superhero movie. Okay? You look at something like the first Captain America, first Avengers, it's, the primary thing is about, Steve trying to get into the army to fight the Nazis and battle Hydra and stuff like that, and fight for the little guy, and buy war bonds, and helping America and its allies defeat this giant bully. They ain't trying to drum up the whole concept just because the 40s. Oh, it wasn't so good for certain women and people of color. We didn't here for that. It's not the time for that. Okay? That's not the focus. I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry, PR people in the, or HR people in the Fox, Marvel Studios. But, read the room. It's not like, we're not here for that. We want to see the Fantastic Four fight some bad guys, deal with the Silver Surfer or female Silver Surfer. God, it still gets in my craw. But we want to see them deal with Galactus, fight the Mole Man. Just be a superhero family. Have this the only conflict we wanted to see for them tackle is the whole familial dynamics. It's a soap opera, pretty much. That's all we come here to see. Not Sue had to have give us a lecture about women in the workplace and living in a madman world. Stop it. We don't need to drive home this kind of crap in every little thing. We want to leave real world issues behind for 2 hours at most, while we come into a film to watch something of the fantasy variety for escapism. That's the whole point of these kind of films. That's the whole point of movie magic. If we can just turn our brains off for at least a few minutes and just look at the film and be entertained. You're taking your crap. You're taking your films left and right or at least you having your actors be a little pawns and mouthpieces and ruining their reputation, being just like with Rachel Zegler being the face of this these problems when they probably just puppeting or parroting what you're telling them to do, and all they do is going to do what they are told because they're under contract and they got a job to do, so they'll just say whatever. At least within reason. And, oh my God, this is gonna be. I don't think the Fantastic Four is gonna be terrible, but it's ironic. It's ironic to me that the Thunderbolts, of all things, even though it's kind of like Dark Avengers technically, but the Thunderbolts right now is probably the main one. People somehow. It's a weird how things changed from the start of this year. People were a little bit like, the Thunderbolts. I don't think like anybody's gonna care about the Thunderbolts right now. But half of Daredevil right now is, I ain't gonna spoil anything right now, but I'm just gonna say, half at this point in time, half of Daredevil has been like a little iffy in terms of entertainment wise. Once the final episode comes out next week, I will have an in-depth spoiler review about the show, so I can give my overall thoughts. I literally written down notes because this is a lot I have to talk about in terms of that. In general is good, but you would think Daredevil will just be like, it's like a layup. This is like it has 3 good seasons. Now you got to the 4th season, and Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios get their hands on it somehow, some way. They are like, it went down a couple of notches in terms of quality, in terms of, well, at least narrative quality. And then with like the Fantastic Four, was people a little bit more hyped about at first at the beginning of the year. Now this recent stuff with Joseph Quinn, who plays Johnny Storm, and Vanessa Kirby for the Invisible Woman, is like they're sinking the ship or putting holes in it with the crap that they've been spewing recently. Pedro Pascal, people are just warming up to him because he wasn't anybody's first choice for Reed Richards in the first freaking place. Should have been just John Krasinski and just be done with it. But all in all, the only thing left is the guy who's playing Ben Grimm. Hopefully he keep his mouth shut and stay out of it. Just be quiet and just do his job and just say nothing but good things about the movie. And then Captain America 4 is just a glorified Hulk sequel that was like a hodgepodge of bunch of cut up crap. So only thing left that seems somehow legit right now is the Thunderbolts of all things. Like, oh my God, it's like, what are you doing? Why y'all making so many missteps? Just give us what we want. Like, perfect example, Silver Surfer. Nobody asked for a female Silver Surfer. We know what we want. Why are you trying to, F it up on purpose? Just to placate to, if we need to get more females in seats. It's like, nobody remembers a female Silver Surfer. You pick out one little comic what if thing way back in the past and to justify your reasoning, which probably ain't gonna last long in the film because they're gonna be probably coming back into the main MCU timeline with the actual Norman Rad Silver Surfer. But you don't even have to do all that stuff. You're messing up things that didn't really be messed up. In general, people remember the Silver Surfer as a guy, as Norman Rad, who saved his planet from Galactus by becoming his herald, and boom, move on, do it. Don't try to muck it up. I mean, not to say that you can't play around with that little what if situation, but not right out the gate. That's like 2-3 movies down the line if you want to placate to that. Okay? Set the foundation first that people generally recall. Okay? It's like making a Robin movie, but making it, Cassie. I forgot, the one in like the Batman Returns little future thing. Cassie, not Cassie Kane, but that little redhead girl, Cassie. It's like being that the first Robin in your Robin movie where we didn't have any of the previous Robins. We didn't get Dick Grayson first, and it's like that is so weird. Okay, you know what we want. If you want to bring in a Robin movie, the first one should be Dick Grayson. Or at the very least, Tim Drake. Not, the girl who was in a alternate, Elseworld story, which is critically acclaimed, but it's like most people remember the 4 other Robins who's way more popular than her and had more time than we did with that girl. It's the same thing. But you cherry pick that thing just because you want to get like the progressive points. It's so annoying. Just do what people expect. Okay? It's not that hard. Oh my God. Long story short, and it's just like kind of a bit of a ramble, but it's just like they mucking up things that didn't need to be mucked up. Okay? You should have planned all this out from the jump, because like I actually don't mind the whole concept of the whole multiverse saga, but they should have planned this out. It's like if you knew you was going to do this, make sure you had a plan so everything can be interconnected and woven properly. Have like a moment where all these people will interact with each other so we can get used to them, make them charming and not just like a mouthpiece for certain agendas or struggles of certain gender dynamics or whatever crap that you want to spew just to pat yourself on the back because you want to seem like, hey, we're with you, ladies. It's like, it's so, oh God, it's just so cringy. And this is why people get so annoyed about this woke crap. I'm sorry, it is what it is. It is crap. Another saying is we don't want inclusivity, but it's the way you handle it is what is making it cringy. Okay, it's just implementing things that don't need to be implemented, and you causing strife, and people who voice their concerns or dislike or discomfort of a certain thing that didn't need to be brought in. You label them bigots or racists, or you get your actors and feeding them like, or gaslighting them, the thing like, oh, if they bring it up, they just think it's just the racists out there, without giving them the nuance, saying like there's a minute of racists that are bigots out there in the world, but generally speaking, if people raise like any objections or whatever like that, it is what it is. Just brush it off. They're probably just passionate fans. But now they just gonna be puppeting wherever you spew at them just as like a shield, like, oh, they're just bigots, and use it as a shield so you don't have to face any kind of consequence of bad choices that you make just to drum up like controversy that doesn't need to be. You just expect like people just to take in any slop that you put in our face and not question it whatsoever in any capacity, justified or not. That's the most annoying thing that I have with not just with Marvel or Disney. It's just with any studio, when like you can't just give us you got an IP, just give us like the Super Mario movie, the Sonic films, the Detective Pikachu. They knew exactly who their audience was. They gave us exactly what we want. One Piece, the TV show, live action on Netflix. They knew exactly what the fans want, and they delivered it. They didn't muck with anything they didn't need to be mucked with. They at most expanded upon what couldn't have been in the original material that they were spawned from. It's not so hard. They didn't make Nami a girl boss. They just played Nami as she was. Leave it be. It was perfectly fine. It ain't broke. Don't fix it. That's all you have to do. That's all we want. I'm not saying we hate women or anything like that. We just want properly written women with layers in their character to make them appealing so we can gravitate towards them. So we want more of them. But yeah, they mishandled a lot of that stuff, and they should have, properly set it up so we can at least have a Avengers film, so we can have them properly meet and deal with like a mid-level boss. But when we dealt with Kang at the time, or now Doctor Doom, which personally they got too many other actors. They could have had Doctor Doom. You got RDJ just to making sure we get people invested in the Marvel cinematic universe again, because you're desperate. It's a desperate play, and we all know it. You're not fooling nobody. Of course, RDJ is a great actor, but there's other great actors as well that haven't been in the MCU. He could have gotten to play Doctor Doom. John Hamm, just off the top of my mind, could have been a great Doctor Doom. There's plenty. Hell, I would have even accepted the guy who was in the first Fantastic Four film who played Doctor Doom before. He was Doctor Doom twice. You could have gotten him. He was awesome. Had so material to work with, but still, great casting. The first two Fantastic Four films, nobody complained about the casting. There was great casting, all in all. And especially the Reed Richards guy, Ian Gifford, I was like, that's a spot on. That was like a spot on Reed Richards. Look exactly like him. That's half of the work. And you could have just got, that version of Doctor Doom back, that actor, with better material. Just like with Hayden Christensen with Vader, he coming back as Doctor Doom and just killing it with proper material and better budgets and stuff like that. He can really. Can you imagine, instead of RDJ walking out on stage, because that's pretty much like a layup. You just needed people just to get more excited with the MCU again. But how wild it would have been if they gotten crap. I forgot the actor who played Doctor Doom. Let me make sure I get the guy's name. I'm sorry. Julian McHannon. You got Julian. He's only 56. He could easily be Doctor Doom for a good solid 10 years. Or at least he would have been 55 last year. But last year when you made the announcement, you could have just got that guy. Can you imagine in that green cloak they had RDJ in, instead of RDJ coming out in his mask, and it was that guy? The crowd would probably went crazy, like, oh my god, they brought that guy back. Oh my god, it's like that was still not only generate excitement, but also people been a little bit more intrigued, and it wouldn't have that stink of desperation on it. And he probably wouldn't have been costing as much as RDJ is costing, I imagine. Because let's be honest, RDJ, it's not going to want to play this forever. Because we expect Dr. Doom to be in at least quite a few, not only in the first two Avengers, the next two Avengers films, but also in another Fantastic Four film. Because he's the main Fantastic Four villain. I'm just saying, that would have been a lot more exciting, and still offer that intrigue. Because when I was like, oh my god, he's gonna just got another bite at the apple. Because a lot of actors get another bite at the apple of certain characters that most of the time have not worked out so well, or kind of dropped the ball after a certain period. That now with better budget, better material, supposedly, people get into that curiosity and get them more involved, and it's ready for more. Anyway, I kind of drag on this discussion, but leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think of what's going on with Avengers, the current roster of the next Avengers film, and how was it handled. Am I base here, or it's how you think? What do you think about my suggestion of them having a prior Avengers film before Doomsday, just so we can just get used to these new characters, because they're just most people are just more excited for the people that, you know, like a lot of the OGs or older G's. And hopefully with Rebecca Romijn, unlike what's her name from Hunger Games, hope she won't complain about wearing blue outfit and all this other blue makeup and all this other stuff, even though she knows exactly what she's getting herself into, you know. Because Rebecca Romijn didn't complain about her little things. She knew what she signed up for. It's kind of ridiculous. Anyway, I will see you guys a little bit later for another reaction video. So leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.